Travis Head likes to stay back at the ball, but on a wicket that's not really coming on. That was a great option. Saw a little bit of flight and then had zero doubt, something that his batting's displayed exceptionally well over the last 2 years.
It's a very good toss to win for Australia. The numbers for spin when you bowl first versus you bowl second in the games that we've seen so far here, pretty stark. The average almost doubles when you're bowling first.
So you're thinking good toss to win for Australia?
Extraordinarily. I think we can sign that free trade agreement now.
I think it's done.
Kuldeep thinks there's something there, but KL's in a row now that India have lost in one-day international.
They're 14, he's not going to go for it. Again, that's why I'm saying he likes to stay back at the ball, but that was almost the identical ball as the one that went for 6. Rongan's topped it up, throwing it right up there. Almost premeditates playing off the back foot.
Again the wrong one. Still trying to play him off the surface. 8 gone, 53 for 1.
The googly from Kuldeep Yadav, but just flicking the back pad. You can see how leg side Travis Head stays at the ball, showing all his stumps. Make of the changes to Australia's team today, Haydos? I mean, a big challenge for the 2 young lads, Tanvir Sangha and Cooper Connolly, 23 and 21 years of age respectively, with precious little ODI experience, just 3 games each. What did you make of the selections? Just obviously showing a lot of faith in both of these.
For that.
Yeah, wonderful performance against New Zealand. Precious little ODI experience, and not that much List A experience actually, but 25 games he's played in List A cricket, 5 fifers, so it shows the impact that this young man can have with the briskish leg spinners, spinning the ball both ways. Not easy to read. England found him very difficult to read in that bilateral series.
Straight back. There is a fielder there. The catch is taken. Varun Chakravarti produces the breakthrough once again, and it's the big one India wanted.
It's a massive moment in this match. Travis Head was doing the kind of things that he does do against India. Aggressive cricket. Chakravarti. The mystery continues.
The first ball he's ever faced against Varun Chakravarti. And he decided to take the aggressive option. It's a very good catch, this by Shubman Gill, which is running in at some speed. I'm sure it must have been at the back of his mind. This is Head. I must catch it. And he did. 39, it's 54 for 2. Labuschagne at 4, the interchange positions when they play Test cricket here in ODIs. It's Labuschagne at 4. It's 36, strike rate just 84. They've got off to a good start. We won't worry them just yet, strike rate.
Yeah, the value of already having qualified when that New Zealand game came around just encouraged India to make the change, bring Varun Chakravarti in, and then he did so well. It was an obvious selection to keep him in for this key game.
Faced the ball against Varun Chakravarti and decides to go downtown. Looks to play it to the onside.
It's a very interesting character, Varun Chakravarti, an architect by training, worked as an architect. I think he might have said once that his final year dissertation was architecture for cricket stadium. Very good catch by Shubman Gill. Then almost gave up the game. He said his dreams were about either being an architect or maybe making it in the movies. And then came back to cricket as a schooling at the age of 26. He started playing lower division cricket in Chennai.
Don't you think that's an advantage, though, that you come back to the game and you have a different appreciation of it when you've seen the other side of life and everything else that life has to offer? And then you come back to the game, still young enough to have a go, and you come back with a different attitude, I imagine, knowing that perhaps not everything is on the line, that you've got other things that you can turn to.
Maybe it also tells you how much you wanted it in the first place, and then it's been up and down since. At the moment, on and up. Might have conceded 5 off it, but produced a big wicket. 58 for 2.
Very interesting conversation around Chakravarti. A wonderful athlete, Shubman Gill. No problems at all there. Yeah, that discussion around the appreciation for a different career pathway is almost at a standstill. This doesn't happen anymore, does it?
Now they start playing cricket very early. Cooper Connolly was captain of Australia's under-19 World Cup team till very recently. An interesting one. A lot of good players came out of that under, including Jacob Bethel, Tanzim Saqib, Dunit Verlalage. Quite a few good players came out of that. Right, Akshar Patel comes back in. He also said, Chakravarti, that he wasn't aware of the pattern of deliveries when he's bowling 10 overs rather than 4. And so the 2 seasons he played in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, said it allowed him. Right, he's gone over the infield. It's the last over. He's decided to take on the bowler before.
I think that's a good point you make about the value of domestic 50-over cricket, because a lot of young players coming into the game will play more T20 cricket now, and the rhythms of 50-over cricket very different. He's eyeing up another go there, Steve Smith, but he pulled out at the last minute.
So the sequencing of deliveries over 50 overs is, in a 50-over game, is very different from the sequencing in 20 overs cricket. Requires an engineering bent of mind. If you had said who said that, you almost would have said Ravichandran Ashwin. At 50 for Australia, the quickest in all the 4 games that have been played here. They're determined, Australia, not to get into a rut. They've seen what happened to New Zealand. 5 of the over, but the power play is done. 63 for 2.
पिक्चर के अंदर सही तीखा सही लाल हो तो हर पिक्चर ब्लॉकबस्टर।
सही तीखा सही लाल?
नहीं सर, सही तीखा। आजकल मैं एक्शन कर रहा हूं ना, सही लाल।
इधर आओ, डब्बा ऊपर करो। हाँ। सही तीखा
सही लाल।
एवरेस्ट तीखा लाल,
टेस्ट में बेस्ट एवरेस्ट।
That's almost everybody's go-to center. Where do we play cricket? We're not sure. Okay, let's go to the UAE. Who would have thought that after the experiment with Sharjah initially?
Well, Harsha, you were talking about the sequence of deliveries. Harsh, so important for a batter to do the same as well. Daniel Vittori and Travis Head pre-match today, going through the options. Which one's it going to be? What are the cues? What are the tips? Well, he gave himself no chance because that was first ball. Just a little time just to work into his magic here. Travis Head would have been something I'm sure now sitting in the change room he may well consider.
If you talked, Michael, to Haydos would have said sweep.
Well, Chakravarti doesn't look an easy bowler to sweep to me. Tall action, high arm, quite brisk pace, gets a lot of overspin on the ball. I'm not sure it would be my preferred option.
Now, the reason I said that was we got tired of watching Haydos sweep against India.
Yeah, it's who do you sweep and what conditions do you keep? There's no way in the world that I would have been looking to sweep, that's for sure, because of that obvious statistic that he is at your stumps. It's just bowling to hit the stumps. And even if it is turning a fair bit, then that gives you a better option, but it's not huge turn.
One of the successes India had against New Zealand was against a team that loves sweeping. I think the stats were that sweep 30% or 10-12% of all the spin deliveries they get. They kept them down to 17 shots. The shot wasn't on. Against Chakravarti, look at the speeds in this over. 95, 94, 97. Actually, here's a point for the two. If you're watching the troubles that Varun Chakravarti is creating in the minds of people, you always thought as a young kid to watch the ball out of the hand. Are we seeing less and less of that? With the sidearm throws, maybe, with T20 cricket, maybe. Not quite seeing the hand as closely? In the next over, maybe 66 for 2 from 11.
3 runs and 3 balls in this over by Varun Chakravarti. 11 overs of Australia on 66 for 2.
Famous example, of course, you were playing in, were you, Haydos? 99? No? Herschel Gibbs?
Famous comment from Steve Waugh. Have you dropped the World Cup? Nasty stuff. The point is that you have to also be in control of your body. But I have no problems with that at all. very good athlete. When you look at the catch itself, there was perfect line to the ball, and then he had great control through his hands, stabilised how many steps afterwards? 1, 2, 2.5, almost 3 steps, no problems. But good that he actually
पाव भाजी के लिए हारने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं। घर बुलाए जल्दी इस पाव भाजी मसाला।
Yeah, your point about reading out of the hand, and in particular Varun Chakravarti. Before the ball started to spin, and there was no more difficult ball was spinning than
there.
I must admit, I'm very surprised seeing that, because